Hidden among obscure jungles, unreachable mountains, and forgotten islands, emerged 25 birds so rare and beautiful that they seem like creatures from another world. Macaws with impossible colors, golden pheasants, desert phantom birds, iridescent canopy jewels, and ancient guardians of lost forests. Each species is a glimpse into the extraordinary, brief, brilliant, almost mythical apparitions that few human eyes will ever have the privilege to see. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now let's get started. Number 1. Blue-faced macaw. The blue-faced macaw is an extremely rare Central American macaw recognized by its turquoise blue face, contrasting sharply with its vivid red body. It lives in isolated tropical forests and depends on specific giant trees for nesting, which drastically limits its distribution. It is unusually quiet for a macaw, emitting short, spaced calls, as if aware it must avoid attention to survive. Its flight is fast and high, disappearing into dense canopies where few humans can follow. Spotting one in the wild is a feat reserved for persistent researchers and experienced local guides. Its beauty is so striking that many describe it as a ruby lightning bolt with sapphire eyes. Number 2. Berenice's parotia. Berenice's parotia is one of the most mesmerizing birds in New Guinea, known for its complex dances and metallic black plumage that shifts color as sunlight filters through the canopy. The male meticulously cleans the stage where he performs, removing leaves and twigs to ensure every movement is visible to the female. Its lateral filaments, shimmering like strands of liquid copper, create a luminous halo around its body. In the wild, it is extremely difficult to find. It lives at high altitudes, in remote areas with nearly inaccessible vegetation. Its dance lasts only seconds, but witnessing this ritual feels like watching a secret performance reserved for the deepest jungle. Number 3. Amber-feathered sunbird, a legendary bird, rare, elusive, and almost never recorded. Its amber gold body shines like a sunset glow. It inhabits isolated regions and constantly avoids human contact. Many describe it as a living painting that appears only when the world is completely silent. Number 4. Misty blue sparrow. This tiny bird lives in cloud forests where light barely reaches. Its soft blue feathers seem to glow in the dimness. Because it moves quickly and lives in small groups, it is seen only for a few seconds at a time. Number 5. Western cock of the rock with bright orange plumage and an imposing crest. This bird inhabits steep rocky cliffs that are hard to reach. Its beauty is undeniable, but observing it is difficult as it lives in areas almost completely isolated from human presence. Number 6. Mountain blue jay. The mountain blue jay lives at altitudes where the wind rules. Its deep blue color and echoing call make it iconic, yet incredibly rare. It appears and vanishes like a colorful shadow. Number 7. Yellow-rumped scarlet macaw. This macaw inhabits extremely remote regions and displays a vibrant contrast of red, blue, and yellow. It is extremely sensitive to noise and human presence. Its long flights and secret routes make observing it nearly impossible. Number 8. Mauritius pink pigeon. Nearly extinct in the 1990s, the pink pigeon was brought back thanks to strong conservation efforts. Today, although still rare, it stands as a symbol of resilience. Its soft pink tone makes it unique among pigeons worldwide. Seeing one is like witnessing the embodiment of a second ecological chance. Number 9. Tibetan golden sparrow. This rare sparrow lives on the Tibetan Plateau, where the extreme climate keeps its groups isolated. The intense golden color of its plumage contrasts with the cold, arid landscape, creating the impression that small pieces of sunlight leap between the rocks. Spotting it is rare and valuable, often associated with local legends. Number 10. Carmine parakeet. Small and vibrant, the carmine parakeet lives only in high altitudes, where specific fruits sustain its diet. Its red plumage seems to glow against the deep green of the forest. But because it lives in small flocks and moves quickly, it is rarely seen. Its presence is like a living flame visiting the treetops for mere moments. Number 11. White-crowned kingfisher. With a long beak and rapid flight, this kingfisher hides in dense mangroves where light rarely enters. Its white head contrasts with its blue-green body, creating an instant flash when it flies. Seeing it requires silence, patience, and extreme luck. A single abrupt movement and it vanishes like a silent bolt. Number 12. Hawaiian crow. The Hawaiian crow is an intelligent bird with complex vocalizations and remarkable social behavior. However, its wild population has vanished, leaving only reintroduction programs. It inhabits volcanic forests, where it once developed sophisticated feeding routines. Its appearance may seem simple, but the metallic sheen of its feathers reveals subtle nuances. Its rarity is not aesthetic, but historical. It represents the last guardian of an ecological knowledge devastated by invasive species. Seeing one today is witnessing an unlikely return. Number 13. Indo-Chinese blue dove. The blue dove appears sculpted in celestial jade. Its intense turquoise blue plumage creates a unique translucent effect. It inhabits low, humid forests in Vietnam and Thailand, but being extremely shy, it rarely approaches human areas. Its flight is silent, and its feathers absorb light, making it nearly invisible among shadows. It associates with untouched habitats, avoiding any degraded environments. Its rarity has turned every confirmed photograph into a biological treasure. Seeing a blue dove is like witnessing a fragment of sky materializing among the leaves. Number 14. Purple-collared parakeet. Small, colorful, and extremely rare, the purple-collared parakeet lives on isolated Pacific islands. Its plumage blends citron green, shimmering blue, and a violet collar that glows like a semi-precious stone. Because of its restricted distribution and frequent tropical storms, its populations are tiny. It hides in dense vegetation, moving quickly like a point of light that appears and vanishes. Seeing this bird is so unlikely that many believe it to be a living myth. Its value lies in the combination of delicacy, fragility, and extreme oceanic isolation. Number 15. Himalayan royal hornbill. This gigantic hornbill dominates the mountain skies with its robust beak and impressive bony casque. With long wings and heavy flight, it echoes through the valleys like a living drum. Birds of this size are generally easy to see, but the royal hornbill inhabits such high and inhospitable regions that few researchers ever reach them. It nests in colossal tree cavities, feeds on rare fruits, and maintains complex social rituals. Its combination of size, grandeur, and geographic isolation makes it a bird as difficult as it is fascinating. Encountering it is like witnessing an ancestral guardian of the Himalayas. Number 16. Night parrot. The night parrot is considered one of the most mysterious birds in the world. For more than a century, it was believed to be extinct, until a few individuals were found in the most remote areas of Australia. With greenish-yellow camouflaged plumage, it blends perfectly into the dry desert plants. It lives hidden, avoids light, flies little, and rarely emits sounds, which makes it practically invisible to human eyes. Its value is incalculable. Every confirmed record is treated as a scientific event. Seeing a night parrot in nature is as rare as witnessing a secret eclipse, silent and almost impossible. Number 17. Black-billed toucan. The black-billed toucan draws attention with the contrast between its dark bill and vibrant body, an unusual combination that gives it a unique elegance. It inhabits high-altitude regions of the Atlantic forest and spends most of its time hidden among bromeliads and dense branches. Despite its striking appearance, it is surprisingly discreet, moving with silent precision. Its populations are small, fragmented, and vulnerable, making any direct observation extremely difficult. Its value lies not only in its beauty, but in the rarity of seeing it in the wild. Every sighting feels like a fleeting, stolen moment, as if the forest allowed only a brief glimpse of its colorful guardian. Number 18. Royal scarlet manakin. The royal scarlet manakin is one of the most incredibly vibrant birds in existence. A flaming red spark that suddenly appears among the deep greens of the forest. Its body is so intensely colored that it seems to radiate its own light. The bright red of its plumage contrasts with the deep black of its wings and tail, creating a visual combination that defies the logic of camouflage. This species seems designed to challenge the forest's shadows, like a living ruby moving through a labyrinth of leaves and branches. It is a small bird, but its visual impact is enormous. It inhabits isolated regions of the Amazon and tropical forests throughout South America, always in remote and nearly inaccessible areas. It favors deep clearings formed by fallen trees, where sunlight enters in narrow beams, illuminating only small portions of the environment. There, the royal scarlet manakin reveals its spectacle, the courtship dance. It performs rapid movements, precise jumps, and wing vibrations that seem perfectly choreographed. It is no exaggeration to say that its dance is among the most complex in the entire bird kingdom. system, comparable only to that of its close relatives, the manakins. The ritual involves song, dance, and an impressive display of speed. The male positions himself on thin branches and performs circular movements around the point where the female watches. The intensity of its plumage stands out even more under the filtered forest light, creating a contrast so sharp it seems almost digital, as if the bird had been cut from animation and placed there. Researchers lucky enough to witness this show describe it as so surreal that it resembles an optical illusion. Despite its bright colors, the royal scarlet manakin is extremely difficult to find. It lives in areas accessible only through turbulent rivers, deep mud, and nearly impenetrable vegetation. Its distribution is fragmented and its movements unpredictable. Often the bird remains motionless on shaded branches for long periods, disappearing completely from sight. At other times it appears suddenly and disappears just as quickly, like a small red flash that cannot be followed. It feeds on small fruits and insects, playing a crucial role in seed dispersal in forest areas that depend on specialized species to regenerate the understory. As it moves from tree to tree, the manakin carries with it the forest's biodiversity, actively participating in the maintenance of the ecosystem. Though small, its ecological impact is significant. Its reproduction is directly tied to the preservation of specific forest areas. The royal scarlet manakin does not adapt well to degraded environments and disappears immediately when deforestation occurs. For that reason, its existence is severely threatened by environmental change. Many areas where it once lived are now open scars left by human exploitation. The rarity of seeing one in the wild has made this species a dream of birdwatchers worldwide, though most will never see it. The incandescent beauty of the royal scarlet manakin remains confined to forest depths few dare to explore. It is a living treasure, a fragment of fire dancing in the darkness, and a powerful reminder that nature's greatest wonders are not displayed openly, but hidden, waiting only for the right eyes to be revealed. Number 19. Anselmo owl. The Anselmo owl is one of the most enigmatic, rare, and practically invisible birds on the planet. It inhabits regions so dense, isolated, and scarcely explored that even experienced specialists can spend years without managing to observe it. Its grayish-white plumage, combined with scattered markings that resemble the texture of aged tree trunks, makes the species disappear completely into its surroundings. Even when perched just a few meters away, it becomes impossible to distinguish it from the shaded wood. It is as if the creature were made from the very silence of the forest. The Anselmo doesn't just live in the shadows, it is the shadows. One of its most striking features is its almost supernatural flight. All owls are silent, but the Anselmo owl takes this ability to the extreme. It crosses the air with a complete absence of sound, like a ghost cutting through the darkness. This is possible thanks to microscopic structures in its feathers, which reduce turbulence and dissipate noise before it forms. The result is a bird that moves like a living apparition, perceptible only when it decides to reveal itself. Many local peoples believe it does not fly, but materializes among the trees, a belief that becomes understandable when witnessing its ability to appear and vanish with no perceptible transition. The species is found in remote montane tropical forests, especially in the western Amazon and in barely explored regions of Central America. It prefers mid-altitudes where fog accumulates at dusk, turning the environment into a blend of shadows and vapor. In these conditions, the Anselmo owl completely dominates its habitat. Its perfect camouflage combined with extremely discreet behavior makes even automatic camera traps fail to capture it. Many of the few available records exist only thanks to improbable coincidences, an accidental flash, an unexpected movement, or a researcher passing through the exact place at the exact second. The owl's diet is as varied as its ability to adapt. It feeds on small mammals, insects, amphibians, and even smaller birds. Its intensely black, wide eyes allow it to see in minimal light, making it a lethally precise predator. In absolute silence, it observes, analyzes, and strikes with the speed of a blade thrown through the air. Its presence, though almost never seen, directly impacts the population control of several species that could otherwise destabilize the environment. Its reproductive behavior is equally intriguing. It does not build elaborate nests, instead choosing natural cavities in trunks, rock crevices, or deep hollows on the tops of dead trees. It selects places no ground predator could reach. The pair cooperates intensely during chick rearing, and the female is fiercely protective, capable of attacking much larger animals when threatened. The species species' call is rare, deep, and lingering, echoing like a profound whisper vibrating through the forest. Hearing this sound is nearly as unexpected as seeing the owl, and many natives interpret the vocalization as a warning from the spirits of the forest. The rarity of the Anselmo is also tied to habitat destruction. Because it depends on very old, specific trees to reproduce, the cutting of primary forests directly threatens its survival. The species has been recorded so few times in the wild that its true population remains unknown. Some researchers believe it may already be critically endangered, but the lack of data makes even an official assessment impossible. The symbolic value of this bird is immeasurable. The Anselmo owl represents what is most hidden and guarded in nature, that which exists but refuses to reveal itself to the human eye. And for that reason, it is one of the rarest and most expensive birds in the world, not in monetary terms, but because observing it requires not only luck, but an improbable combination of silence, patience, and presence in the heart of forests that almost no one visits. It is the living ghost of the trees, the silent guardian of a world disappearing before it is even discovered. Number 20. Green peafowl. The green peafowl, a direct relative of the more familiar blue peafowl, is one of the most spectacular, rare, and underrated birds in the world. Its metallic green plumage, which reflects golden, blue, and bronze tones, looks like it was made of precious scales. It possesses a supernatural glow, as if a dragon from ancient Asian mythology had taken the form of a bird. Its posture is majestic, with a long, ornate tail whose multicolored eyes seem to observe the world with hypnotic sophistication. It is a creature that seems designed to represent nature's aesthetic perfection. While the blue peafowl is common in gardens, parks, and zoos, the green peafowl is practically invisible outside its original habitat. It inhabits remote regions of Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, and parts of Thailand, always in dense, mountainous jungle areas that are difficult for humans to enter. Its population has suffered drastic declines due to hunting and deforestation, making it an endangered species and extremely difficult to observe in the wild. Even trained biologists report that they can spend weeks without spotting a male in full display. The tail fan display, a spectacle everyone associates with peacocks, is even more impressive in the green form. The feathers shine with an intensity that resembles colored glass lit from within. The display is not only for attracting mates, but also for intimidating rivals. The male lifts its neck, releases a deep call, and transforms into a living circle of color and light. Only a handful of people have witnessed this performance in nature. It is almost legendary. The green peafowl is also incredibly intelligent and wary. It detects human sounds from long distances and vanishes into vegetation quickly. It flies better than the blue peafowl, reaching high branches with ease. It spends much of its time in trees, mainly to avoid terrestrial predators. This aerial mobility makes it even harder to detect. Beyond its beauty, the species has significant ecological importance. It helps control insect populations, disperses seeds, and plays a role in structuring multiple food relationships within eastern forests. Its absence can trigger serious ecological imbalances. The green peafowl is considered one of the most expensive birds in the world because the chance of observing it in the wild is almost zero. Even those who travel to Southeast Asia seeking this experience must face dense jungles, extreme heat, predators, long expeditions, and still may never see one. This absolute inaccessibility is the species' true value, something money cannot buy, only luck and perseverance. Seeing a green peafowl in nature is like witnessing a ghost made of light, an experience so unlikely that almost no one on Earth will ever have it. A bird so magnificent that it seems to have been created only for the forest gods to admire. Number 21. Mandarin duck. The mandarin duck is considered by many to be the most beautiful aquatic bird on the planet. A creature so ornate it seems to have been hand-painted by an artist who decided to combine every color nature could offer into a single animal. Its tones include vibrant orange, deep blue, metallic purple, emerald green, gold, pure white, and satin black, all arranged in patterns so precise they look embroidered. The male, especially during breeding season, becomes a living masterpiece, displaying curved side feathers like Japanese fans, and a face that blends elegance and intensity. Nothing about this bird looks ordinary. It is an explosion of natural aesthetics condensed into a small, lightweight body. Despite its widely known beauty, seeing a mandarin duck in the wild remains a rare and challenging experience. It inhabits remote areas of China, Japan, Korea, and parts of Siberia, where it prefers hidden lakes, moist forests, and mountain regions nearly inaccessible to people. Even in places where it lives, the species tends to remain discreet, occupying areas that humans struggle to approach. It hides in dense vegetation, emerging only for essential activities, which makes spontaneous encounters extremely difficult. The individuals seen in parks and gardens worldwide do not represent the true nature of the wild species, which is far more cautious, clever, quiet, and elusive. One of the most fascinating traits of the mandarin duck is its monogamous behavior. Unlike most ducks, it remains loyal to a single partner for years, sometimes for life. This deep emotional bond inspired centuries of symbolism in China, where a pair of mandarin ducks represents true love and eternal union. In traditional ceremonies, figures of these birds were given as wedding gifts to symbolize harmony and fidelity. Ironically, despite this cultural reverence, the wild population has declined due to deforestation, hunting, and habitat loss, making every encounter increasingly rare. Another remarkable trait is its nesting method. It lays eggs inside tree hollows, often several meters above the ground. When the chicks hatch, they must leap from the nest, plummeting straight to the ground or water, a dramatic and risky moment essential for their survival. This behavior highlights the species' uniqueness and its adaptation to very specific ecological niches. Its flight is also impressive. The mandarin can take off almost vertically, maneuvering between trunks and branches with agility uncommon in ducks. It is fast, silent, and extremely alert. In nature, escaping predators requires refined strategies, and this species has developed aerial abilities comparable to those of smaller forest birds. Despite its delicate appearance, it is also a strong migrant, traveling long distances in search of suitable climates. The mandarin duck feeds on aquatic plants, seeds, small invertebrates, and some fruits, playing a vital role in seed dispersal along riverbanks and lakes, a key component in maintaining local ecosystems. In regions where it disappeared, aquatic vegetation lost one of its main natural dispersers. The rarity of seeing a wild mandarin duck, combined with its surreal beauty, makes it one of the most expensive birds. Not commercially, since trade is tightly regulated, but symbolically. The price is its inaccessibility, the need to travel far, wait in silence, and hope that for a few seconds it chooses to appear from the shadows. For most people, the beauty of this duck will remain confined to photographs, never experienced in the natural glow of morning light reflecting on its metallic feathers. Number 22. Nicobar pigeon. The Nicobar pigeon is considered by many experts to be one of the most mysterious and visually breathtaking birds on Earth. Its feathers carry a metallic palette that looks as if it were hand polished by a divine artisan. Iridescent greens, oil blue, burnt orange, gold, and even copper tones, all shifting as the light moves across its body. The effect is so stunning that the Nicobar pigeon appears like a living piece of walking jewelry, revealing new layers of brilliance with every movement. It is the kind of beauty that defies explanation and feels displaced in time, as if it were a fragment from a completely different era. And it's not hard to understand why. This species is considered the closest living relative of the legendary dodo, extinct for centuries. Seeing a Nicobar pigeon is the closest anyone will ever get to witnessing a real dodo. It carries in its DNA the memory of vanished lineages and survives as a relic of an ancient past. This transforms any sighting into a symbolic, almost archaeological event, an encounter with something that should have disappeared but persists in silence. The Nicobar pigeon lives on remote islands of the Nicobar archipelago, in Indonesia, and in isolated regions of the Indian Ocean. These areas are difficult to access and often closed to visitors, especially to protect native tribes and extremely fragile ecosystems. For that reason, seeing the species in the wild is nearly impossible. Even for authorized researchers, observing one requires days of sea travel, favorable weather, and absolute luck. It prefers dense coastal forests, where it camouflages itself among shaded trunks and low low vegetation. Its behavior is reserved and quiet. Unlike urban pigeons, the Nicobar pigeon is cautious, alert, and distrustful. It approaches the ground only to feed on seeds, fruits, and small invertebrates, but quickly returns to safer places. Its flight is strong, direct, and surprisingly fast, contradicting any assumption of fragility associated with decorative plumage. In reality, it is extremely resilient, capable of traveling long distances between islands when necessary, which explains its scattered distribution throughout the archipelago. Another extraordinary aspect is its slow reproductive cycle. It lays only a single egg per clutch, and the chicks depend heavily on parental care during their first months. This naturally reduced reproductive rate, combined with habitat loss and predation by invasive species, makes the bird vulnerable and contributes to its extreme rarity. The metallic beauty that makes it so iconic also attracts illegal collectors, although trade is strictly prohibited. For decades, its plumage was used in local ceremonial adornments, which reduced populations before conservation measures were implemented. One of its most striking characteristics is the collar of elongated feathers around its neck, resembling fine strands of colored silk. When the wind moves, these feathers, they create a flowing, liquid metal effect, and so unique that many explorers of the 19th century wrote descriptions referring to the Nicobar pigeon as a bird made of light, and that remains true today. The ecological importance of this species is immense. It aids in seed dispersal across coastal and island forests, contributing directly to the balance and regeneration of delicate environments. Its presence is an immediate indicator of environmental health. Where there are Nicobar pigeons, there is preserved forests. The Nicobar pigeon is expensive, not in monetary value, but in its inaccessibility, its historical connection to the dodo, and its absolutely unmatched beauty. It is a living reminder that nature hides secrets that survive only on the planet's most remote edges. A bird so rare and beautiful that, for most people, it will remain nothing more than an image in books and documentaries, never seen in real life. Number 23. Helmeted hornbill. Among all the planet's enigmatic birds, few possess the physical and acoustic presence of the helmeted hornbill. It resembles a creature from prehistoric eras, with its massive cask-shaped beak and enlarged bony structure functioning as a natural resonating chamber. When it calls, the sound travels through the forest like a drum echoing for kilometers, announcing that a winged giant is near. Its robust body, powerful flight, and wings that produce a signature whoosh make its presence impossible to ignore. Even when it remains unseen, it is as though the forest itself announces its arrival. This species inhabits some of the densest, most inaccessible tropical forests of Southeast Asia, places where sunlight barely reaches the ground and where humans almost never set foot. For this reason, the helmeted hornbill remains invisible to 99% of people on Earth. It favors remote, untouched areas, far from human disturbance, making encounters rare even for expert biologists. Many rely more on audio recordings than actual sightings. And when visible, the bird often stays among high branches, where the forest's natural shadows perfectly conceal its enormous cream-colored beak and dark plumage. Its reproductive behavior is even more fascinating, and contributes significantly to its vulnerability. During nesting, the female seals herself inside a tree cavity, closing almost the entire entrance with a mixture of fruit, mud, and feces, leaving only a narrow slit for the male to deliver food. She remains there for weeks, incubating the eggs while depending entirely on the male, who must perform dozens of daily trips in search of fruit. Any disruption, such as the fall of an ancient tree or the death of the male, jeopardizes the entire cycle. This unique breeding strategy makes the species extremely sensitive to forest fragmentation and logging. The helmeted hornbill is enormous, often exceeding 1 meter in length, and its impressive wingspan creates a striking silhouette against afternoon light. Its flight is more than locomotion. It is a sonic declaration of territory. Each wing beat produces a sound like a heavy paddle cutting through the air. This sound is so distinctive that indigenous peoples interpret it as carrying spiritual messages, viewing the bird as a guardian of ancient trees. For them, seeing it is not merely observing a rare animal, it is witnessing a sacred symbol. But perhaps the most intriguing feature of the species is its helmet, technically called a casque. Unlike other hornbills, the helmeted hornbill has a completely solid casque. not hollow, making it exceptionally heavy. This density amplifies the resonance of its calls, generating deep sounds that travel through kilometers of dense forest. The extra weight also intensifies the drama of its flight, as though one were watching a mythological being battling gravity. Unfortunately, this very casque turned the bird into a prime target for wildlife traffickers. For decades, its casque was used as an illegal ivory substitute, prized for being easier to carve and more uniform in appearance. This demand decimated whole populations until strict protection measures were enforced. Today, encountering a wild individual is as rare as finding an ancient sculpture carved from its casque, both remnants of a time when forests were untouched. The true value of the helmeted hornbill lies far beyond illegal trade. Its worth comes from the fact that seeing one requires traveling deep into isolated jungles, undertaking difficult treks, camping in wild environments, and still relying on silence, patience, and luck. It embodies the mystery of tropical forests in its purest form. Immense, ancient, powerful, and nearly unreachable, it is one of the most extraordinary and inaccessible birds in the world, a winged titan that many will hear, but almost no one will ever see. Number 24. Golden pheasant. Among all ornamental birds on the planet, few create the same visual impact as the golden pheasant. It looks like a creature forged from fire and light, with colors that defy natural logic: a bright golden crest, intense red chest, metallic green wings, and orange striped neck feathers resembling a stylized rising sun. Its existence feels rooted in ancient mythology, rather than that of a flesh and blood animal wandering through the mountain forests of China. The golden pheasant is simply surreal, so breathtaking that it became a symbol of royalty, prosperity, and power for centuries. Despite its worldwide fame, the wild golden pheasant is rarely seen. It inhabits remote mountainous regions accessible only through long expeditions. It moves swiftly through dense vegetation, fleeing at the slightest sign of threat. Even experienced researchers admit that spotting a wild individual is a true feat. The birds seen in aviaries, videos, or botanical gardens do not reflect the reality of the species in its natural habitat, where it is more elusive, faster, and far more difficult to observe. In the wild, it practically dissolves into the landscape, making its beauty something reserved only for those who push far beyond what is ordinary. Its physical structure is another spectacle. The long tail, made of delicate patterned feathers, is used for balance and communication. During courtship, the male performs a complex ritual, raising his colorful cape around his head and transforming into a living fractal of vibrant patterns. The display is so extraordinary that traditional communities of the Chinese mountains created legends claiming the bird was born from the union of the spirit of fire and the spirit of the forest. Nothing compares to the intensity of its colors under the soft light of dawn, but its rarity extends beyond habitat. The golden pheasant suffers from territory fragmentation, historical hunting, and even from its own fame. The demand for perfect specimens once put pressure on wild populations, forcing governments to implement strict protection measures. Even so, seeing one in its natural environment remains an almost legendary experience, so rare that many wildlife photographers spend years without capturing a single wild bird. The golden pheasant is expensive not because it can be legally sold, as protection laws forbid it, but because it represents something money cannot buy: the chance to witness a creature that seems to have escaped from a dream, a bird so magnificent that it challenges visual logic and turns any encounter into something sacred, a being of pure light and motion, a symbol of the natural grandeur hidden in the world's most inaccessible corners. And for this perfect blend of mystery, rarity, and absolute beauty, it is one of the most astonishing birds you will likely never see. Number 25. Hyacinth macaw. The hyacinth macaw, considered by many to be the most striking living jewel of the avian world, is also one of the rarest and hardest birds to encounter. Its body is completely cloaked in a deep blue reminiscent of polished lapis lazuli, giving it the appearance of a creature born from a mythical realm. The intensity of this color is unmatched by any other macaw species, and this uniqueness alone inspires universal fascination. The hyacinth macaw doesn't just inhabit forests, it dominates the open skies, gliding over over vast landscapes with an elegance that transcends its robust physique. Its wide wings, powerful flight, and unmistakable silhouette make it instantly recognizable, even if only as a blue streak against an orange sunset. Despite its unquestionable beauty, seeing one in the wild remains an extremely rare privilege. It lives mainly in remote regions of the Pantanal, the Cerrado, and obscure parts of the Amazon, areas often far from human populations. Its reserved behavior and tendency to travel long distances make encounters even more unlikely. It is a bird that seems to understand the value of its own existence, refusing to be easily observed, as if saving its presence for sacred, fleeting moments. This aura of inaccessibility makes spotting one feel like stumbling upon a bar of pure gold lost deep in the forest. Another factor behind its rarity is its slow reproductive cycle. The hyacinth macaw lays few eggs per season and depends on specific cavities in ancient trees to nest, something increasingly scarce due to deforestation and fires. It is also a constant target of wildlife trafficking, being one of the most sought after and valuable species in the illegal market, not because of cruelty alone, but because of its astounding combination of beauty, strength, intelligence, and longevity. Stories abound of individuals captured decades ago that lived more than half a century in captivity, reaffirming their magnificence even outside their natural environment. Its feeding habits are equally unique, with an exceptionally strong beak capable of breaking coconuts no other macaw can open. This species appears to have evolved to dominate a highly specialized niche. Its reliance on certain types of palm nuts ties it directly to the ecological balance of its environment, playing an essential role in seed dispersal and forest regeneration. It is a bird that doesn't merely adorn the landscape, it actively sustains life within it. Witnessing a hyacinth macaw in flight is like observing the exuberance of Brazilian biodiversity condensed into a single being. It transcends the idea of an ordinary bird and becomes a living symbol of what nature creates when humans do not interfere. For many, it is more than a species. It is an icon, a blue entity that guards the secrets of deep forests, visible only to those who accept that some wonders of the world lie beyond common sight. And for this very reason, it is one of the most beautiful and expensive birds you will probably never see. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Also, check out other interesting videos appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next one. See you next time.